Madam President, there is another matter.
nothing I have seen could compare to what we have witnessed today in St. Julian Trees. It is terrible. Okay, we have a video going on social media. I don't know if Archie had the time and opportunity to pull some clips out of that video. But nevertheless, we saw today where the fire attendant reached a point and could not have passed. I mean, Chanel was driving our vehicle, and of course it was scary at times when you compare the size of the vehicle, which is a Toyota Hilux. When you compare that to this massive fire truck, the Toyota Hilux was edge to edge, Corky. And I understand why the driver, although we saw some areas where I must say that the driver took serious risk to go through to try to reach the home of this elderly couple. It is seriously a troubling situation. And today, putting aside all politics, all fun, all games, and all joke aside, I am seriously asking Rohan Sinanan, the Minister of Works and Transport, to pay some attention to that road, because, Corky, I am saying we have seen some areas that may very well cut off that area from the rest of Trinidad very soon if the rain continue. And I am very much disheartened and disappointed, because one of the thing with me is that, Corky, you see the effort that Jeffrey and myself continue to make throughout in areas which people consider to be the PNM area.
Yes.
And we don't watch face. The young people will know what I'm talking about when I say we don't watch face, right? The elderly, for you, we don't watch colored, creed, and race, right? But for the young people, all they know, we don't watch face when we doing we thing. We jump out and we do what we have to do. And we just do what we have to do, Corky, even in the PNM stronghold area, where we as constituents from Labre, where we could reap no benefit.
You see, you care about people. You don't
exactly.
Care about,
physically.
Yes.
So we do what we have to do despite the critics and despite the white glasses idiot. We do what we have to do. You know, I said to white glasses that I really do not disrespect some idiot on some program they have on an evening who always put the foot in the mouth.
Oh, right.
And put the foot in the mouth, and who had this big ad going on, and I want to know how much they pay him to promote that ad, right?
Okay.
This idiot took down a live that he had last Wednesday, where he but I don't afraid to wet them, you know. I don't afraid to wet them. You see all the wetting them the stock wetting and wetting from a pipe. But when we talking wetting and wetting, we just come from the sea, so we water can't done wet you. You understand? So while be that as it may, I am saying, Corky, that the time must come in this country where taxpayers' dollars must benefit taxpayers. I don't care. I don't care about PNM area and UNC area. I don't care about that.
You care about human
I am saying that taxpayers' money must be distributed across the board with equity. I don't care about who telling me about that PNM area and who telling me that UNC area. I don't care about that, because the money that belongs to Trinidad and Tobago, it is not UNC money, it is not PNM money, it is the citizens of this country money. And this geographical discrimination that this government continues to perpetrate against areas that they consider to be UNC stronghold. I am saying that that nonsense have to stop, must stop, because I am saying that we will stop it.
Yes.
We will stop it.
Yes.
And when I say we, I'm speaking about people power.
Yes.
That is what this country missing. People power. And Teasdale and all who are calling to talk about what they feel Kamala should do. Call in. Call in. Call in. Alright? Call. Because for too many times, we in this country, Corky, always look for Jesus to blame. We look for Jesus to crucify.
Yeah.
And we will not stand up and do what is necessary to save this country from this wicked, vindictive, evil, thieving, lying, corrupted government that now administrates in Trinidad and Tobago. And Silver Fox, tonight I want to say to you that all your work in Tobago ain't finished yet.
Right.
All you have 2 PNM MPs in Tobago from central government standpoint. And Silver Fox, I say tonight
Yes.
that I've given you a job.
Yes.
And your job, Silver Fox, is to mobilize Tobago to ensure that these 2 PNM MPs in Tobago either cross the floor, resign, and look for fresh elections where the PDP would be able to control those 2 powerful seats that today we could make changes and get rid of this evil, rowdy government from office. That is your work, Fox. I know you're capable. I know you're competent. Them 2 Tobago MPs who continue not to represent Tobago, but represent PNM, I am saying Trinidad.
Start.
Let me start. Kamala. That's all I hear. What are you doing? What are you doing? They wake up in the morning and they blaming Kamala. The woman so good and she well clever. Let me sing something.
Yeah, because it's only Kamala.
It's only Kamala they talking.
Go back ahead to her.
What are you doing? What are
Yes,
you doing?
yes.
What are you doing for yourself? What she's supposed to do. Kamala
Very
doing
good, very good.
what the Constitution empower her to do. Tell you something today. All you ain't understand the game that playing inside of the UNC. All you ain't understand the game. Well, let me help all you to understand the game.
Right.
When you look at Basio Pandey and Lawrence Ramesh Maharaj, who was ring on finger, diamond on ring, and they walk, they do, they penetrate, and they had things running. Let me tell you how this setup that's come. Maraj. They get a feather and they tickling him. They tickle him on the arm. They tickle him in the ears. They tickle him in the nose. They tickle him. They tickle him. They tickle him. You know what happened? They start to tell Ramesh, Ramesh, it's time for you to lead the UNC.
Yeah.
It is time for you. It is your turn now. Let me tell you something. Ramesh Lawrence Maraj may very well be a clever lawyer.
Yeah.
But politically, I, Victor Roberts, consider him to be a political dunce. That is my opinion. Let me say it again. Ramesh Lawrence Maraj might very well be a clever, one of the best, probably, lawyers in the country. But politically, I, Victor Roberts, my opinion is that he is a political dunce. And for those of you who don't understand that, a duncey head. My opinion.
Yes.
Let me tell you why.
Yeah, break it down.
I want to hear.
Bansio Pandey days was politically numbered.
Yeah.
It had nobody else to take Ramesh Lawrence Maraj place.
Yeah.
It had nobody else to succeed Bansio Pandey at that point in time, Koki.
Yes.
But lo and behold, those who believe that there was third place, or who would have becomes second place to Ramesh, they encourage, they assist, and Ramesh Lawrence Maraj jump out to oppose Basdio Pandey by he, Trevor Sudama, who they consider to be Romeo, and Juliet, in my opinion, Ralph Maraj. They left the UNC, supported the enemy. The enemy to the UNC was the PNM.
Yeah.
I go educate all today. You see today? I'm going to educate Trinidad and Tobago. So they left and they went with the enemy against the UNC, against the party. And when trouble starts, they come and they pelt out team unity, feeling that the UNC support base would have support that decision. The UNC support base rejected them.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, they end up in the political cemetery, and they could never, ever see the corridors of power in this country. A myth.
Yeah.
That is a myth, Cocky. The stage, the opportunity, the time, the date in history was compatible to a woman taking that leadership role at that point in time, and therefore Kamla Prasad Bisesa emanated out of the bowels UNC and became the leader, the historical leader in Trinidad and Tobago. Let me tell you something. Vassan Bharat, Botirari, Fazal Karim, and all the rest who believes that they could join with the enemy as what the three stooges did and believe that they can succeed, they will be rejected by the UNC. You see, you cannot join with the enemy of the UNC and then try to make friends with those who you just helped destroy. Vassan Bharat, David Maharaj, Ramona Ramdial, Bo Tiwari, Fazal Karim, all of them, they are at the gate of the political cemetery. Let me tell you something, people. This Kamala weak strategy, it is also facilitated by some members of the UNC. I don't care who vex. You know why? Because I ain't want no favor from nobody, Cocky. I'm not in a beauty contest. So I don't care who like me. That is not my role. My role is to bring facts to this country, bring the truth to this country, and to stand up and defend the poor, the downtrodden, and the oppressed. That is Victor Roberts' role. So let me tell you what's happening. This Kamala weak ideology, it is facilitated by hierarchies of the PNM and some members of the UNC together with some individuals who believe that their turn is next after Kamala Prasad Bisasa.
Big mistake.
I will talk to
Mistake.
I will talk.
Talk, Victor. Talk.
You see, they're facilitating this Kamala week. Some of them even leaking information to some idiot group of individuals who call themselves the UNC cabal. A set of spineless individual with no morality. A set of individuals who you can describe nothing short of some garbage character individuals, because they hide behind some fake profile and feel that they could say what they want, feel that they could tell you what they want. But I always say, Corky, Victor Roberts does not spend time with idiots. So here what the game is. When you look at Rowley, Alwari, Stuart Young, Kasim Hussein, this idiot health minister, and the Dwan, when you look at these, and the independent senators, all of them, Cocky, strategy is to attack Kamala, single-handedly Kamala. They want to attack Kamala.
Mistake.
Nobody else. So every time they want to attack the UNC, they will say Kamala and the UNC. They will attack Kamala because the strategy of the PNM, those who looking to take the position of leadership in the UNC and others,
Yes.
they will continue to propagate that style to discredit Kamla Prasad Bisesa. But let me tell you something. Or you cannot discredit the fighter. Or you cannot discredit a woman who bring policies in this country not only to educate the Indians but to raise the Africans. And I and others will stand and fight and defend Kamla Prasad Bisesa name not because I like she, not because she pretty, but because she have looked after the interests of this country by bringing policies to move this country according to Patrick Manning's vision. Kamla is the one that brought policies to bring this country to a first world status. So let me tell you, those in the UNC who believe that they could attack and join with the enemy to discredit, to defame Kamla Prasad Bisesa, you are just digging your own grave.
Yeah.
And those who sit within the UNC right now,
Yes.
right now, who conspiring behind Kamla back, I am saying your grave politically is also waiting on you. You cannot. People in this country is not as stupid as some of all you feel. So this listen this.
Yeah.
They push Vassant and say, yes, you is the man. Your turn next. But behind the scene, they know the party will cut Vassant's throat.
All right.
But they push Vassant in front to make room for the self.
Wow.
You check it?
Yeah.
They push Vassant. Vassant go. We supporting you. And push Vassant in front. And Vassant, poor fella. And he'll say he does eat roti with knife and fork. Poor fella. He jump out. But not knowing that those who pushing him, making room
For the self.
for themselves, because they know the party, they know the membership will cut Vassant throat.
Yeah.
So when they push Vassant out there, and Vassant get lick up, when Kamla decide to go, or God say otherwise,
Yeah.
they turn next. They have no stumbling block in the way. And that is the nasty political games that does play in this country. That is the dirty political games that does play in this country. So if they didn't watch and see what happened to Team Unity, when Team Unity, led by Ramesh Maharaj, was at the epitome in the political career, and the membership reject them, who you feel is Vassant, Bo, Fazal Karim, and the rest of them. They just waiting in turn with the candle in the hand. They waiting with the candle.
The grave done dig.
The grave done dig. So it's a game. I watching something, you know. I watching something. Don't feel, let me tell you something. Don't feel that Victor Roberts, don't feel that me and others, that we didn't understand the political games that play, you know.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. We put in all your notice tonight.
Yes.
all who feel they could play political games, and all who feel that the livelihood and the future of this country is games, we will point you out.
Yeah.
We're going to point you out. I want to say something again. I want to tell you that we will point out the enemies within the UNC.
Yes.
Because it's them that have the UNC in opposition after Kamla Prasad Bisesa have worked night and day tirelessly to put things in place to move this country forward.
Yes.
There are those who sits around the table. Cocky, remember? All things are ready.
Yes.
Come to the feast. They sitting around the table
Waiting.
waiting to eat and drink with a cutlass, not a knife, you know.
What?
A cutlass
Why a cutlass?
to stab the leader in she back. But there are those of us who not eating. We will stand by the table, and as you flinch,
Yes.
as you shake,
You'll get cut down.
you're getting cut down.
Mistake.
Mistake.
Big mistake.
That is the political game. So when they pong it out there, Kamla week, it's like a song, Cookie. Everybody want to sing it. Kamla week, Kamla week, Kamla week. They're singing it. Give me something, Cookie. Give me something.
Let's play a song for
Let
you.
me drink some coffee.
Shelters to get away. The boys. Tired.
In this country, Kamla Prasad Bisesa
Yes.
was, and will remain one of the better prime minister to serve this country. You hear what I'm saying, Talia?
I agree.
So all of those and all of them who believe that the propaganda machine could work throughout this length and breadth of this country, I want to tell you something. It has some men here with the mist blower. And when we blow,
Yeah.
the wind will take up that mist and spread it through this country to let this country understand that in order to have a good life, in order to succeed, in order to have a good standard of living, in order to mind your family, in order to be prosperous, you need a compassionate leader like Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
Yes.
Julian Chase, we coming back to you after the break.
That's right. Let's take a break.
wasn't expecting all of this. She say, I wasn't expecting them on our anniversary tonight. Well, you can guess how that game went.
The stories men tell, the legends they create. What's your story? Stag, a man's bear.
The Grand Coulant Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. The Grand Coulant Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Blackrock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Blackrock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
It's time to make your community better than before. Join yours truly, Kieran Joseph Samaru, on Your Community. We'll be discussing the important issues with the important people in the place most important to you, your community. Join us every Tuesday at 9 p.m. right here on MCTV as we know and make your community better than before.
The 2022 Chutney Soca Monarch. 15 of the top Chutney Soca artists in the world. 5 for the 2 biggest titles in Chutney Soca. Will G.I. retain his crown? Will Nisha reign in 2022 as a Queen of Chutney Soca? Special opening performance by the world's greatest Chutney Soca artist, Ravi B, and his full band, Karma, featuring Nisha B and Abishai and the Kalnayak Dance Academy. Hosted by our very own non-news anchor, Kenneth Supersad, and Big Rich Dipungalums. All artists backed up by Wizzy and Avatar. Saturday, 26th February. We feature one of the biggest productions in Trinidad and Tobago's Taste of Carnival. Limited tickets are available. All public health protocols will be observed and all patrons must show proof of vaccination. Call us at 653-2908. WhatsApp your ticket reservations to 789-3874 or send us an email at southexevents@gmail.com. The 2022 Chutney Soca Monarch is sponsored by TSTT, Extra Foods, Stand Steel, Tropicus Beach Resort, U97, TTT, Whiteo, Magnum, and the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts.
Douglar Radio is now on U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. with Anil Roberts, bringing you the facts on politics and up-to-date information. Also taking your calls on 218-7762. Douglar Radio on U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Get ready for the revolution. What you say?
Sponsored by Royal Castle.
My parents' generation grew up with Royal Castle. From the first restaurant in 1968, when that distinctive, tempting aroma hit the air, they just couldn't resist. And like never before, fried chicken with a special blend of local seasonings and a one-of-a-kind flavor down to the bone. Today, Royal Castle still have that same delicious taste, and I love it too. The kids can't resist it either. Plus, they have more to enjoy. For me, the castle is more than just nice food. It's we own, part of me and you, and it's the real flavor of TNT.
Welcome back. So Jeffrey, coming back to the area in which we went today.
Yeah.
St. Julian Trace. I wanted to give the people an account of what we experienced today.
Where's St. Julian Trace location?
Princestown. That is where the two elderly individuals lose their life.
Okay.
Well, in entirely Trace, well, we saying, well, that was the mission. We go there to see what's going on with the people and them. And you know, when we went in when we come through the first landslip and we decided to do a little short video on it, and we jump back in the van. Within no time, we bounce up another one, and we bounce up a group of villagers that was there too. They say they have been complaining for years.
Yeah, they house and all going on.
They house right at the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
So we do a little video there again. It had so much. We was pressed a time to it because we went and we interview the family members and them, and brother, my heart squeeze me in my chest, boy. I mean, people don't say this thing is about we politicizing and thing, boy, but at the end of the day, sufferers, boy, sufferers. It has something about the human nature what us connect with. And we went up there to see what's going on because have become somewhat of a national figure. So they contacted him and we decided, yeah, what's going on? Let me go up there and see what's going on. We import no ad, no flyer. We instead go there with no instead of a UNC jersey. Yeah. We went there to ask people for no vote. So the man with the white glasses, boy, oh gosh, boy. We know if to the highest bidder. You understand what I mean? We went there, we think, and the people here does know, people does get vibes, some people in it. No problem.
Yeah,
the whole village,
they want to talk.
The whole village come out.
Yeah, they want to talk.
And I could tell they have been going through a crisis for years. And you see some very instrumental, Victor, because they perceive that area to be a UNC area. What the PNM do? They neglect. And Indo-Trinidadian alike. And next thing, let me think on the live. They say everybody feel that the base are Indian is a UNC. Yes. Message that has tried these ad hominem attacks to try to attack the character, attack the message, people, attack the message that we say, and let me start it from a different angle, because you know when you attack the character, that is a low blow. You understand what I mean? That is to show that you can't come and spend no time in the ring, so you go try to hit more under the bell. Attack the message. In no beauty contest, according to Victor, we ain't coming for no beauty contest. If you say ugly, I agree with you. Yeah. You understand what I mean? But the people in that village, the minister who works on transport feel is a total failure when coming to these people, because these people have been talking about this for years. For years.
Let me take one.
Yeah, let me take this caller. Good evening, caller.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Victor, Jeffrey, and Cockney.
Good afternoon.
Well, yes,
good afternoon.
I love the fire tonight. I would like to say, Jeffrey, yes. Mr. Jeffrey.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. No one ugly in the sight of God.
Thanks.
I know this voice. I can't miss this voice. I know this voice.
Right, so I enjoy the program a lot, and whatever you say this tonight, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Victor,
yeah.
you truthfully say the right thing, and you know I just always agree to what you say.
Right.
And you know Kamala, she really make history. Remember I said that before.
Yeah.
She make history as a woman for Trinidad and Tobago, and as I is a woman, she stand up for the women in this country.
That is true.
Yes, yes.
Yes, she always look out for the women.
All right.
Of course,
You know?
not like the next prime minister who abuse women.
Did you get some water?
Yes, she abused women.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is
He
there
abused
water?
women, he don't. I don't know. I'm sorry for that woman.
Yeah.
I am also sorry for
I'm
them.
really sorry. But thanks very much for listening, right?
Okay,
Yes,
thank
did
you.
you
Thank you.
Did you get
And
water?
Kokiri,
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure, Kokiri,
Yes.
make sure and go on board.
All right. Did you get water in the pipe?
Well, it come and it gone back. No water now.
Oh Lord. All right, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
bye bye.
Okay then.
Let me take this one.
You want me to hear?
Welcome, caller.
Yes,
Welcome,
this Silver
caller.
Fox here.
Look, Silver Fox, boy. Look,
Yes,
Silver
yes,
Fox.
I know you're waiting on the Fox all the time.
I said, but Fox, like he didn't hear me, boy. Like he radio off.
Yes, man, yes, man. What I do here, Victor? Kojo and that next girl is 2 passengers right now in Tobago. They're isolated. Right? They're isolated here. All them people on PNM board in Tobago, all gone. All.
Good.
Right?
Good.
So the PDP is running welfare and everything here. Everything going real good. What we're doing here, right? Is that everybody in Tobago, we don't want nobody with no latrine outside. They're building a toilet onto your house and put everything for you.
Right.
The government giving you doors, they're giving you windows if your house in the problem is just apply and you're getting anything you want for your house.
That
free of charge.
is the THA doing that.
Right? They have a 15,000 grant, they have a 50,000 grant, and they have a 100,000 grant according to your situation.
Right. The THA doing that.
The THA doing that.
Right.
Party and them doing that.
So, Fox, listen this. While that is very, very good on the part of Fali and Duke and so on, one of the things, there's 2 ways to move. But I'm glad to hear what is happening in Tobago, and I'm glad to know that the people of Tobago will finally benefit from their vote.
Have a little talk.
Yeah. No problem.
Right?
No problem.
Because
No
they can't
problem.
bring race in Tobago, all are we black.
Good.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes.
Beautiful.
Right?
Thank
And I
you,
want the
Fox.
people of Trinidad to understand. To be free, you have to be thinking independently and get up and fight for your right.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And that is the problem we have. We're having too many people. Another.
Caller.
Good evening. Good evening.
Cascade in the house.
And a blessings unto my comrade.
Yes, brother.
Yes, brother.
I want
to shut down this country.
Yes.
And people only laughing and thinking, when we put somebody in power here, it's not for their use. We put them there. They're working for we.
Correct.
You see this race thing, I'm not on a race. I'm a performance.
Correct.
And this man here from day one, I didn't like he had. I know he up to thing. This man lying, but his time getting short. Then go ahead. And all these things, we gotta shut down this country.
I agree, Kola, and Monday I will give them the recipe. Not Monday, sorry, Tuesday.
You understand that Gypsy say we crying, but we buying. When you're going to go, we buying things still. Oh, God, it's expensive, boy, but you don't buy it by complaining.
Yeah.
Don't complain. You gotta blame yourself. Point the finger at yourself. What I do wrong. That's what I need to do.
Thank you very much, Kola.
We all as one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kola. Brilliant contribution. You see, there is a lot of people outside there with brilliance who understand the dynamics and how things ought to work. And when we put somebody in office, they have a responsibility to perform. They have a responsibility to put people first. They have a responsibility to ensure that equity comes across the country to every creed and race. Not what we have been experiencing over this past 6 years. We have never seen this before in the history of governance in this country. We have seen a government who takes a position where they will discriminate against any individual who did not support them. And worse yet, they also took a position to punish, to damage, and to bring to naught the people who support them, Jeffrey.
Yes.
Jeffrey, what should the government doing to its own supporters? And for some reason, I don't know, there's a lot of old saying that we cannot say. And there's a lot of things that people say that we cannot say.
Yeah. We ain't gonna say it here.
Yeah, but I mean...
But we know what's going on.
We see what's going on. Remember, Douglar Politics will be coming up at 7:30 sharp. Douglar Politics at 7:30 p.m. sharp.
Yes.
So we have now is 17 minutes. We have just about 13 minutes to go.
13 minutes.
So the phone lines are open. 218-7762. Make your contribution to your point. Make it short. Make it sweet. And make it plain.
And remember, people will be coming into your areas. This is not a party thing. We come in, so your voices will be heard.
Of course.
Call the number.
316-4468.
Yes.
That's my cell number. Call me all the time. Remember, I didn't say anytime. But in case of an emergency, call me anytime.
I was at work thinking about the big football match on TV. My wife called me. She say, "Hi baby, big day today." I say, "Yeah, it's on. Leaving work early." She say, "Sweet." I say, "Expect this to be a big night. Maybe even going to extra time." She say, "I could handle that." So when I reach home later, I was surprised. "Babes, I wasn't expecting all of this." She say, "I wasn't expecting them on our anniversary tonight." Well, you could guess how that game went.
The stories men tell, the legends they create. What's your story? Stag, a man's bear.
This Carnival weekend, U975 FM, the official radio station for CSM 2022, brings to you the live broadcast of the finals. 15
The stories men tell, the legends they create. What's your story? Stag, a man's bear.
This Carnival weekend, U975 FM, the official radio station for CSM 2022, brings to you the live broadcast of the finals. 15 artists will be vying for the crown. King and Queen of Chutney Soca. Special performances by Ravi B, Nisha B, and Karma.
Go back by your mother if you want we over.
alongside the Kalnayak Dance Academy, hosted by Ken Supersad and yours truly, Big Rich. So tune in Saturday, 26th February at 8 p.m. for the live broadcast of CSM 2022, sponsored by Stag, A Man's Beer, Trinidad Salt Company Limited, Gable X, Magna Rewards, Sopolio, Wheel Wizard, Streak Hair Color, Venture Credit Union, and Village Ram Energy Drink. U975 FM, the official radio station for CSM 2022.
Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
All COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
It's time to make your community better than before. Join yours truly, Kieran Joseph Samaru, on Your Community. We'll be discussing the important issues with the important people in the place most important to you, your community. Join us every Tuesday at 9 p.m. right here on MCTV as we know and make your community better than before.
The 2022 Chutney Soca Monarch. 15 of the top Chutney Soca artists in the world. 5 for the 2 biggest titles in Chutney Soca. Will G.I. retain his crown? Will Nisha reign in 2022 as a Queen of Chutney Soca? Special opening performance by the world's greatest Chutney Soca artist, Ravi B, and his full band, Karma, featuring Nisha B and Abishai and the Kalnayak Dance Academy. Hosted by our very own non-news anchor, Kenneth Supersad, and Big Rich Dipungalungs. All artists backed up by Rizzy and Avatar. Saturday, 26th February. We feature one of the biggest productions in Trinidad and Tobago's Taste of Carnival. Limited tickets are available. All public health protocols will be observed and all patrons must show proof of vaccination. Call us at 653-2908. WhatsApp your ticket reservations at 789-387.
We're trying to get Anderson on the line in Beetham. We understand that there was a fire there today where a special need child lose her life. We're trying to get Anderson.
Yes.
Anderson, we'll be calling you. Keep your phone line clear. We'll be calling you. Let's get some information as to what's going on down at the Beetham, what's taking place.
We're having a lot of fires, boy.
Yes, and it seems as though you never notice something.
Yes.
When there's domestic violence, it has be
yes,
3,
be
4,
going
5,
that way.
6, 7.
Yes.
When it's fire, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Is the devil on the loose?
I'm telling you.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
That's how these things just go. Yes.
So people, we asking you to be very careful with these children on the outside. Or, I mean, it's
you
also.
see them bucket where there's use them pigtail bucket where there's leave it water, and the children walking. A lot of children is dying. When they put their head down in the bucket and they dry, they're drunk right there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue,
yes.
Remember 7:23, we'll be crossing over to Douglar politics in just a little bit. Now it's 7:23.
Yes.
We have just about 6 minutes and 49 seconds or 59 seconds before we cross over, matter of fact.
Yes.
So the phone lines are open, 218-7762. You have Anderson number there?
Yes, let's get
Mr. Anderson on the line and let's see what's happening down in Beetham. We know for a fact that some of the people that we are assisting there, Jeffrey, there's also special need. There's also some special need children there. So let's just hear what's happening. Let's hear what's happening down in the Beetham. Let's hear what's going on in the Beatum. It's always sad when one life lost in any tragic incident, and of course, a special need child. I know how it. I think on.
Not good at all.
Right, so while we wait to get Anderson on the line, we want to, as I said before, we want to call out no answer. All right, we'll try him back one more time. We want to really put it out there for some sort of assistance to the people down in Julian Trace, because of course the people, they are suffering down on that end.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to you that very, very shortly, that area would be cut off from what we have seen today. So we are asking Rohan Sinanan to put aside the childish, petty political games that is taking place. Let's put aside the geographical discrimination, and let us allow the state money to service the areas as we go along. All right, that is very, very important. Right.
Ready.
Right. So, Mr. Anderson, good night, sir.
Good night, Mr. Victor.
And well, thanks for taking the call. Today, of course, I know for a fact that we had a situation down at the Beatum, and at this time we want to ask you to share with us whatever information. I'm now learning that it is somewhere about 6 or 7 street it is.
6th Street, 2nd Avenue, 6th Street.
Right. So could you?
Apparently, what took place? But first, I was not wrong. I was not in the community this afternoon. But in asking, I'd asked if that any adult, they understood that a grandmother and 3 children. But things are a little skeptical still. And to get some reports from probably the police and the fire officers. I think the male here and other relatives at the police station, and when the police will have to question them. And we're watching at said, well, from here, from people, one person said that the young man said he was washing. But I spoke to the councillor also called me too as well. Was washing and then he smelled smoke, so I understand that. And I think people don't understand too as well. His 2 children, they were taken out to safety, and so no or any fire service or anything to know. We would have been, as well as saying, there would have been some screaming at least first. So there's a lot of things, and then there's a lot of things the police watching at too as well.
Alright.
So I think presently, I don't know if the young man is still at the station, if he's being detained or just there for questioning until further notice. But it's sad. It's sad. And then hearing too as well too, I don't know, just going by here,
yeah.
Whereby the child had only came down from south for the weekend or something, so I went to go back home. So several things in here. But below my watch, and especially guys I have at my side, we would make sure. Because I have a postcard on thank you cards I get from quite New York. Lady boy in New York.
Douglar politics, this is Douglar politics, yo. Douglar politics, listen Douglar politics, yeah. Douglar politics, this is Douglar politics, yeah. Douglar politics, this is Douglar politics. Douglar politics, this is Douglar politics,
Good evening and welcome to Douglar Politics. Kenwin Jones, Carlos Edwards, thank you, my brothers, them, my local coaches, my local brilliant Trinbagonians. The women's team is off to a great start. 2 games played, 2 victories in World Cup qualifying. Well done. Them PNM wanted to bring a set of foreigner and put the local brethren. Keep it going, keep building, keep improving. And Kenwin Jones, I like that. Even though you win, you say we could have been better. That's it. Keep building. We like that. You're going in the right direction. Proud of all you. That's something we could be proud of. Trinidad and Tobago's women footballers. As we see in the USA, the women have won their court case for equal pay. I can't believe the USA wanted to pay them men more than the women who win 4 World Cup, who win 4 gold medal, the best team in the world that pack out the Rose Bowl with 100,000 people. The USA women and balling about the men have more skill. All you don't understand the pure skill of that USA women's team. So a landmark judgment, equal pay for equal work. Well done, USA. Revelers keep old mass alive. Newsday, boy. Newsday, you're not giving up with this PNM. You're not giving up Newsday. You're still trying to make we feel like Carnival. What is this? This is Carnival pre-Wednesday. What is this? Carnival Wednesday. Where we going? We going to Beach Bayview. Where we going? Beach House. Where we going tomorrow? We going to Libya. Where we going? Down south. Is Carnival. Big Carnival. Look, Newsday, give me a chance now. Old mass. They play Old mass for who? It had Ghost and Duende. Who Old Mass play for? Which children get to see the Old Mass? Who see the Old Mass? Who explain the Old Mass? Look, this country is something else. Check them. They're still going, entertaining clash of tents at Naparima Bowl. It was entertaining. So the PNM not wasting money. Them are thieving money. Them are using this taste of carnival to ensure their financiers get a little contract to build pod and all kind of thing. Nah. Entertaining clash of tents. But Kaiso lovers stay away. So who they entertain? The mosquito them in Naparima Bowl? Who, if it's entertaining, who was entertained Newsday? Clash of the tents. Paulie attended. I hear this one, Hans Devins. My Baba say, Hans Devins say, what I do for the country. Hans Devins, we never see you on a national team. We never see you do nothing for the country. We never see you serve the country. All I see you do is lick Rowley K-Pax. You feel that I serve in the country. You get on board appointment because Rowley like you. What you do? Your holy hand? Look, Hans Devins, I wouldn't even bother with you. But get out there now, man. Get out there because you're attacking Indian. Hans Devins, we don't like the culture. Where the culture? Look, the tent empty, the Kaiso empty, the Old Mass empty. The only thing have a few people is Pan. All female tent claims discrimination by Gypsy. Gypsy boy, since you gone PNM, your ship sinking, boy. Captain, your ship is sinking with Rowley boy, Gypsy boy. Allegations of nepotism, cronyism, self-dealing, and gender discrimination have been made against chairman of the National Carnival Commission. Gypsy, in your old age, you're going by PNM to get all of that? Discrimination, Gypsy, you is a sweet boy. You're a sweet woman with love and respect. You are chivalrous. You're a gentleman. But you're going by the PNM. And people telling you discriminating against woman. You, Gypsy, in your old age, even I know that could never be so, Gypsy. It had to be the PNM force in you. Just like Kazim Hussein didn't want to fire all them CPEP workers. Rethinking the NCC, says Express. Now I keep telling you all, the mass media has a way when PNM is doing nonsense, they blame others skillfully so that you don't ever lump all the incompetence on the PNM. But this is what Douglar politics about. We will let you know where to put the blame squarely. So the Express says, rethinking the NCC. Let's see why the Express editorial says that on page 12, Monday, 21st February 2022. The government's $15 million taste of carnival provides an illuminating case study for analyzing the role of the state in carnival and how its management model negates value for money by fueling waste opportunity for corruption, financial dependency, and creative stagnation. Stripped of the fevered frenzy of the jam-packed carnival season, Taste of Carnival has presented a rare opportunity to see the National Carnival Commission at work. Pause right there, Express. You see how disgraceful you are? Not the NCC. It gives us an in-depth look at the PNM, at Rowley's PNM, at the PNM cabinet, at Randall Mitchell and the PNM in the cabinet. Not the NCC. They are following instructions, and the NCC is appointed by the PNM. It's appointed by the PNM. It's outfitted by the PNM. They are following PNM policy. They are instructed by PNM Minister Randall PNM Mitchell. So don't try that, Express. So let's try to reread your editorial Express newspaper. It is an illuminating case study for analyzing the role of the state in Carnival and how its management model, it's the PNM, how the PNM's management model, the PNM's governance structure, the PNM selected board, the PNM cabinet, the PNM Minister of Culture negates value for money by the PNM fueling waste, by the PNM creating opportunity for corruption, by the PNM creating financial dependency, and the PNM creating a position of creative stagnation. That is it, PNM. Express, don't try to create, they do all the wrong, and you'll just try to leave them there, and then you're going to stick in, but the UNC is the same. That is not working anymore, because we in the United National Congress are providing the information to the population. Your games and your corrupt message and your corrupt pen and your corrupt editorials that are warped will not be tolerated, and they will not. We will break the efficacy that which you had. Gopi Singh, let the Commissioner of Police, the DPP, probe handling of the pandemic. I listened to many a political speech. Many, and from the best, whether it was Dr. Williams, Kapil Deo, Patrick Manning, who was brilliant, Bastio Pandey, the best, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, across the board, Rudal Moonilal in the Parliament. Tim Gopi Singh gave one of the most in-depth, detailed, passionate, specific contributions on a political platform that I may have ever heard. I hope you all have heard it at length. I can't play the whole thing again, but go on Douglar Politics, it is there, or find it on the UNC, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. But take a taste of Tim Gopi Singh, because lives could have been saved. People's, our loved ones, families, our family members died unnecessarily. Get that in your heads. If you go to a doubles man or a doubles woman, you go there for high, consistent quality. You go there because they are the best. The same thing should follow for healthcare. The best of the best must be put in charge to save your lives. The best managers, the best ministers, the best qualified, the best of the best. The PNM did not do that. And 3,560 people have died. Listen to Doctor, the honorable, intelligent, thick resume, Tim Gopi Singh. Archie, show them.
This has been a monumental disaster and must be the subject of an official report. The near 3,600 patients who sadly lost their lives due to the incompetence and deadly criminal negligence of Rowley's appointees must not have died in vain. They and their families deserve urgent justice. Trinidad and Tobago deserve answers and actions. And as I close, ladies and gentlemen, the entire management or mismanagement can be considered a state-sanctioned criminal act. Rowley and his government has deliberately and willfully violated citizens' constitutional rights to proper health care and protection of lives. It is criminal to allow the fostering of improper medical care, which has been going on for the last 2 years. And the report strongly points to this. They know people were dying helplessly. They lied to cover up. They continued to propagate it. And worse, they kept the same team of managers, CEOs, boards, minister, and his team to continue doing this. If Rowley continues to keep Diyal Singh and his team, he would be guilty of state-sanctioned murder against the citizens of this country. I say tonight, they should all be in jail. Thank you very much.
And go and listen to the whole thing in depth and understand that what they unearthed in 4 weeks when Rowley gave them 1 week, that is just the tip of the iceberg. MP and former medical director COVID-19 report is an indictment on the Diyal Singh's leadership and Rowley's leadership. Former medical director of the San Fernando General Hospital, Dr. Anand Chattergoon, said, the report which was laid in Parliament last week is overall a shameful and disgraceful indictment on the appalling and atrocious state of the public health sector. Terence Diyal Singh and his team at the Ministry of Health should hang their heads in shame at the horrors and terrors revealed in this report. Where were they when patients were forced to endure the horrible conditions that existed in many of the public healthcare institutions? Did they not know what the patients were forced to endure? And did they not do anything about it? Or did they just turn a deaf ear to what they heard? Chattergoon called for Diyal Singh's resignation and the firing of the board and senior managers of the regional health authorities under whose watch patients were subjected to unbelievable, unacceptable, and terrible conditions while at the public healthcare institutions. But yet Diyal Singh comes, this man who in December, under direct questioning from the media, said his overall report was they got it spot on, that the PNM was A-class, that they were the best in the world, that everything in the COVID management, according to him, was done perfectly. That was him. We have to stop allowing people to just lie like that. But listen to Diyal Singh. In the face of that scathing report, 105 pages when it could be 3,000 pages, when it requires a commission of inquiry, when every report, every file of every dead citizen needs to be analyzed. Hear what Diyal Singh says. Diyal Singh says he's taken these findings very seriously now. And he tried to say that the report stated that some of the RHAs were mismanaging and the staff wasn't going. And he says no patient-nurse ratio in a pandemic. Really? You're a doctor? Tim Gopi Singh sat here on a press conference over 2 months ago and said the required ratio of internists, of specialists, of nurses to patients in HDU and ICU is 4 patients to 1 nurse. The report stated that there was sometimes 1 nurse to 40 to 60 patients. And then you wonder why our family members died. But listen to Diyal Singh, still trying to use the same thing that the Express did with the NCC. Remember, the Express is saying, this taste of carnival shows corruption, mismanagement, opportunity to steal, a lack of interest, creative stagnation. But they try to blame the NCC and not the PNM, when it is the PNM who's in charge of it all, including the appointment of the NCC and the NCC, and all their actions and all their people. And right just like that, this one, doctor of death, that's the only doctor he is, doctor of death, Diyal Singh, comes to say, well, some of the RHAs weren't good and they're not managing, taking himself out now, when the report is scathing about what he is in charge of. Health Minister Terence Diyal Singh says, all is not perfect in the health sector. Well, resign, because you just said all was perfect and you are so brilliant, #1 in the world. Now with a little report, superficial report, not an in-depth scientific dig down deep, You come to say all is not perfect now, but you just told us it was perfect. The Alsing said during a pandemic, there is no patient to nurse ratio. Really? Why? Pandemic negates that? Just put one nurse and overwork them till they're dead and let them take care of however many patients that you just put down there, and they don't have time to see, to monitor, to give medicine, to make sure medication, to ensure they're monitoring the vital levels, the oxygenation levels and so on. Just it don't matter. That's according to this dance. When you put people who are not intelligent in critical areas, this is what you get. Elections have consequences. The Alsing said during a pandemic, there is no patient-nurse ratio. He said there was no blueprint to managing COVID, but said he was grateful for the recommendations made by the committee, which outlined shortcomings. Are you grateful? You grateful that they said that you are incompetent? You grateful that they said that you left the nurses and doctors out there burnt out, mismanaged? You are grateful that 3,560 citizens are dead because of your incompetence? Sunday Express, unfinished inquiry dealing with this doctor of death. Sunday, 20th February. Unfinished inquiry. Now this is the Express, eh? Now while I read this, just picture Tim Gopi Singh, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Richie Sitaran, Lakram Bodo, Rai Ragbir, me, Wade Mark, Jolene John, David Nakit, Saddam Hussein. Just picture everybody. Picture it carefully. Express newspaper, unfinished inquiry. The mystery is why Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley ever thought an investigation into the factors contributing to COVID-19 patient outcomes, such as recovery and death, could have been done in a week. The Express basically saying Rowley's a complete and total blithering idiot to have suggested to the population, as we have said, that 1 week to do what? To do where? To investigate whom? Remember, I went through the numbers and told you could not even read the file of each one of the dead patients. That alone would take a month to read 3,480 at the time cases. As it turned out, the investigating committee took a month to collect data and report back, and even so had to admit the time was far too brief to allow a thorough assessment of COVID-19 clinical outcomes in Trinidad and Tobago. And so the most that could have been done was a rapid assessment, which is presented. Accordingly, its findings reflect this. This investigation was always a massive undertaking that would have required the intense efforts of the committee, headed by Professor Terence C. Mungle, and including Dr. Anton Cumberbatch, Dr. Vidya Dean, Professor Phyllis Pitt-Miller, and Professor Donald Simeon. However, it should have been evident even to them. Remember, this is what we were saying. Douglar politics, we don't make no joke. We were saying that even these professionals should have told Rowley on their appointment. Either they should not have taken the appointment or told him, but boy, are you insane? We cannot analyze such a detailed, critical situation in 1 week. But never mind, the Express is now getting on board. It should have been evident even to them that the errand handed down by Dr. Rowley was a fast food version of a commission of inquiry designed only to whet the appetite. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, since April last year, is calling for a commission of inquiry into every COVID-19 death. Tim Gopi Singh did the same thing. Kamala Prasad Bisesa called for the removal of these junior doctors and the implementation of doctors like this, these specialists, to take control of our people's lives. When she was making that call, the death toll was somewhere around 300 or 400. It now stands at 3,560. So over 3,200 people are dead after Kamala said, stop it. Commission of inquiry, fire them and move. Small pin and all of them. How you attacking public servants and all this nonsense. You can either do a job or you cannot do a job. You're either qualified or you're not. Just because the PNM cabinet is not based on merit and they find every dunce from every sphere to put them in charge of critical situations, and therefore the country has collapsed. In the real world, People who are qualified, you look for the best of the best. You look for the best mechanic. You look for the best carpenter, the best contractor, the best mason, the best plumber, the best chef. You look for the best grocery with the best prices. You look for the best doctor, the best dentist. You look for the best coach. You look for the best. Here it is, life and death. And look what we find. The Express continued. It confirmed much of what is already known, prime among which is the deplorable state of information management in the public health sector. Really, Express? It confirmed much of what is already known, but Express, before the election of August 10, 2020, you were saying and you were agreeing and propagating the misinformation of this clown from two drunk students who claim just because of what them say that everything is A-OK and we're number one in the world. You did no in-depth information, no analysis, no opinion from since early when there was no testing, there was nothing to go on, no contact tracing, the borders remained porous throughout, and now you just write glibly. It has always been known. So you always knew, and you just allowed them to go ahead and let people die. Express newspaper. Well, you are negligent also. You have shirked your duty as an investigative newspaper, as a newspaper that provides information and writes opinions based on fact, because you never made it clear. While the UNC was talking and shouting and pointing out point after point, you all never jumped out and said you agree with Kamla, you agree with Tim Gopi Singh, you agree with Rishi Sicharan. You never did that. Now you just say, oh, it has always been known. Really? So then why you let people dead then? Why didn't you all fight to correct it? Why didn't you use your paper to get rid of this doctor of death? Why? You all have no shame. They continued lower down, some of whom confessed to feeling abandoned. This is nurses and doctors by the leadership. Lack of continuous access to critical supplies. Remember, this man was saying, always had all the supplies, PPE, medicine, we never run low of anything. Then on U97.5 FM, different pharmacists calling me and telling me all the drugs we didn't have. When we did a press conference with Tim Gopi Singh about 5 or 6 critical drugs 6 months ago, you were saying they're in short supply. And now the report says the same thing. Drugs that could have saved lives. These people have a policy to not use it because it's too expensive. Tim Gopi Singh worked the numbers for you. 3,000 patients by 8,000. He said worked out to $24 million. That is just one term of Al Rawi's rental. One. He's in his second term, plus 38 million on top of that to outfit his building. But the government said 24 million is too much money to save 3,000 lives at 8,000 per patient. I want you to understand what they are saying. $24 million of your money, your taxpayers' money, is too much to spend on medicine to save 3,000 lives. But 24 million is good rent for Al Rawi, who sits in a cabinet. I want all you to understand, you know. When they came out with a taste of nothingness, of nothing in a pandemic, the taste of carnival, which is a taste of dotishness and a taste of stupidity, they said 35 million. They dropped that to 15 million. So 15 million for a taste of stupidity is okay according to them. But 24 million to save your lives and your mother's life and your auntie life and your grandfather's life is too much. Elections have consequences. Listen to what they are saying. Lack of continuous access to critical supplies, a patchy response to staff's mental health needs, high level of patient dissatisfaction with the quality of meals, poor communication with patients' families, patients' complaints about the quality of accommodation, particularly tents and toilet facilities, and lack of empathy from staff. What the report does not deliver, for obvious reasons, are answers to the burning question of why has Trinidad and Tobago lost so many lives to COVID-19? Look the answer. And the answer is the PNM. More than any other CARICOM country, including Jamaica, almost all of which have similar public health profiles as Trinidad and Tobago. Express newspaper. Now Express, you see, elections have consequences. When you promote this for your shareholders to make this, the people suffer. Another PNM down. How many of them PNM? The whole cabinet get COVID. This one, Faris Al-Rawi, a la mascara, a la tight pants, a la make law, and in the day and break law in the night, a la Andrew Gabriel wedding. But Schoon get charged with police time. The DPP now come out and say he only have 50 attorneys to handle 39 court jurisdictions in this country when he needed about 169 attorneys. The PNM has not resourced the DPP's department, but the DPP, the police and so on had such time to create a file on people who went on the Ocean Pelican because Rowley and Smallpin in war would call me but against Al-Rawi as if we care. The DPP spent so much time and effort and resources to charge Schoon. But it had Juve going in Blue Basin all across the country. Have Juve, have Fete, have Carnival. But where the resources? Where the resources to investigate Rowley's integrity form? Where the resources to investigate Bridgman's and Rowley's approval over the phone with prime ministerial approval? Where the investigation into the HDC housing contract? Where the investigation into the purchase and tender and the bid rigging of the ferries? Where the investigations into these matters? Where the investigation reach with fake oil? Is there geologists? Do the police have the resources to get the geologists to confirm the results? Where those investigations? Where Camille Cash investigation? But hear this now. The lawbreaker, the man who went and dribbled on a 13 man in a room, he get COVID-19. After January, he say, boosted. He have a 2 shot and he boosted and he get the COVID. But all you're coming to tell people about mandatory. Why would all the mandatory Rowley your back? You back like you want your back on the bamboo, like your back on the 17-year-old girl down in the carnival that Rohan bring for you. Where the mandatory? Mandatory nothing, Rowley. You coward. You cannot do it. Soft. And then somebody in the Prime Minister's delegation who gone to the energy conference, flying to Qatar and Doha and all over, them COVID-19 positive. Well, answer this, Samina, because your boy trying to follow the science. I'm trying to follow the science and the PNM science. So somebody in Rowley's entourage, COVID-19 positive. Rowley spends the entire 28-hour period traveling from VIP room to cockpit to plane, circulation in a plane, 10 hours so, 8 hours so, in between VIP room, interacting with these, everybody interacting. It's not a big delegation. And when they land, that person is COVID-19 positive. How come Rowley and the entire entourage didn't go into quarantine, but they out spreading COVID to the leader of Iran and to other countries? How come? Where the science? Where the quarantine when you had to go quarantine 14 days, 21 days and so on? 3-week wait for a COVID test result. This is a newspaper. Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. This is after 2 full years, 24 going on 25 months of COVID-19 mismanagement by the PNM. In early January, teachers were conducting virtual classes huddled in the South Trinidad school staff room. As they are already hyper-vigilant because of COVID-19, a cough in such a tight setting would have been concerning. The small room was only the area. Then it echoed through. Private tests can cost up to $1,200, so the teachers opted for public testing at the Lengua Health Center on January 18th. 3 weeks later, they had no results. That is PNM management of a pandemic. Sinus congestion, drugs in short supply. The Doctor of Death, Minister of Dialysing, the worst minister in the history of the Caribbean, who should have never even dreamed to have that position. And the person who appointed him there has to be negligent in the highest order, had to not care about anybody. Out of your entire team, you find this to put in charge of people's health. And he say, no drug shortage. Or Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. Sinus, decongestant, drugs in short supply and all, and Sahara dust coming. With drug shortages already hitting TNT because of shipping and foreign exchange shortfalls, several sinus and decongestion medicines normally available over the counter have run out. So we have to have even stuffy nose and sinus, this clung here. Now, from one clung to the next. So you know that Ethelbert Hines went on Fazil Mohammed's show, Morning Edition, and said his job as Minister of National Security is not to ensure the safety of the population. Yet he's still in office, eh? Okay? Then Ethelbert went on and he went into the Senate and he was talking. Remember, I had told y'all that the Police Service Commission collapse is a very critical issue, the constitutional crisis that was brought about by the very Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley, who lost confidence, he said, as if his confidence is necessary in a commissioner of police that's an independent position of an independent unit, of an independent force. He put events in trail to remove that commissioner of police and ensure that any merit list that had him on the top would be discarded. This caused the President of the Republic to trample on the Constitution as she ignored Section 123(4). The former chairman of the Police Service Commission was forced to do an illegal act and withdraw a list that was duly approved by the majority of the Police Service Commission. The entire Police Service Commission collapsed. Ethelbert was there trying to give them information. Remember that? And I told you that this constitutional crisis points to a very serious blot on our democracy, a movement towards authoritarianism, dictatorship, tyrannical oppression, because it meant that the executive, the people who are in charge of your money and the treasury, were now trying to have and exert control over the police. The police are supposed to be so independent they could lock up the actual prime minister. That's how a real democracy works. They must not be beholden to any executive or any cabinet. They should not be whispering in the air and hearing the views of a minister of national security on what to do and how to manage units. Because they may very well have to arrest the very same Minister of National Security for breaches of the law, because no one is above the law in a truly functioning democracy. Remember we told you all of that? Well, Ethelbert knows that too. Run it, Archie.
I heard my friends on the other side in the recent whistleblower debate, remember for Old Poochies in particular, say to the public shamelessly that they will not support these measures because they believe they would be used to target the opposition. I don't know how they arrive at that, because in the first place, the government don't apply no law. It is the police who does do that.
Okay. The government don't apply no law. It's the police who does do that. That is the way it's supposed to be. But now take into account all the events from August 11th and the year before, with Rowley influencing, writing to Bliss Seepersad, forcing the merit list to be withdrawn, the president allowing it to be withdrawn, the independent senators not going and allowing the opposition to debate when we wanted an investigation in an independent tribunal into the collapse of the Police Service Commission. New Police Service Commissioners appointed by Rowley and the same president who he influenced to allow Bliss Seepersad to remove the list. Some of those members members of the new Police Service Commission are PNM and don't like UNC and are on the public record of saying that. Then they find Jacob, who was 6th place, and then he is appointed by the PNM as an accounting officer, and he didn't even apply after he get blown out and came 6th in the Commissioner of Police race. They appoint him to act as police commissioner, and everywhere they go he sits down, and PNM is being praised next to him and he says nothing. He takes advice and takes statements and opinions from the Minister of National Security. He fire people based on what? With whom? With Miss Ramgalam, but leave his 2 daughters and Miss Ramgalam's daughter. Remember all of that. Somebody tell people to get tear gas down in the pushback. Why? No, you understand? So Rowley did not want Gary Griffith there. Gary Griffith topped the list. Rowley put things in place to put someone who he wanted there. But Fitzgerald Hines is stating the normal democratic principle that the police must be left alone to investigate, and the police don't take no instruction from the political directorate, and the police are totally separate and apart from the cabinet and the Minister of National Security and the PNM. So he said there. But watch this now. Archie, show them this one now. Let me hear you.
There's a big house in Gulf City now, a palatial mansion. All of you all know it. It is empty for the last 6 years. Whoever was planning to occupy it, a change of government changed that. And there's a big house, but I'm a spiritual man. I pray a lot. And when I drive past the house, I see the spirit of a certain member of Parliament by the front door. And as I pray a little harder and I look, I see the spirit of MacDonald Jacob behind. So I understand why the house remains unoccupied to this day.
Now, other than that being total lies and fabrication, as proven since 6 years ago, that is some other businessman house. But that's irrelevant with this disgusting Pomsite Rasta nastiness. But did you hear? You heard on the PNM platform, Ethelbert Hines is saying that he see the spirit of the Commissioner of Police investigating political opponents and going after Munilal. He see it in a spirit. You see the games, this is not no joke, but he just said while he had to sip water because everything come out the mouth does get dry when he lie. So he come out now and he's showing off that they control the Commissioner of Police. What does he know about what the Commissioner of Police knowing? Why his spirit didn't see Jacob going and investigate Rowley for the integrity form? Why he didn't see Jacob going to investigate Rowley because some outside children missing on the integrity form? Why he didn't see Jacob going to investigate Dylan because of $1 million US Manhattan apartment? Why he didn't see Jacob going to investigate Camille and she cash and she declaration form? Why she didn't see Jacob going to investigate the man who does dance bareback and say he love Rowley and Smallpin like hog love mud? Why he didn't see that? Because that is an admission that he controls the Commissioner of Police. All of y'all who think this is a joke, look at it. They are making a mockery of the country, a mockery of the democracy. And then he comes to say this. Let's hear this clown at Talbot. Because you never know if it's he talking or somebody type thing for he. Let's hear the dance. Bring him.
In this government, and by extension this country's attempt to make itself safe from those who by virtue of a lack of integrity and dishonesty and self-seeking, Madam Speaker, would use the offices they hold, possessed of sensitive information, possessed of significant legislative powers, and use them to our detriment, Madam Speaker.
Well, he just gave an insightful, definitive, clear description of what he and Keith Rowley did with the collapse of the merit list and the Police Service Commission. Rowley and him and the National Security Council utilized their information, their inside information, however they got it, however illegally they got it, and their control of the former chairperson of the Police Service Commission, who was also on a PNM board under bald-head lady, Cash Lady. And they used that power and that information to influence the president, who influenced the chairperson, who removed a merit list, got the Police Service Commission to collapse, to thwart a merit list, change the laws, come to the Parliament, send the other Attorney General out, put the acting one, write a law 24 hours later, amend it to ensure that a man don't get a work that the Prime Minister lost confidence in. That is a description by a Talbot about himself and Rowley. And that is why Wade Mark had to deal with a Talbot, because a Talbot, he had to be a little unstable. The other day, he didn't even know that he had to answer questions in the Ministry of National Security. He had to go and get it from the Minister Zabuka to find the answer. So Wade Mark had to ask a Talbot a very serious question. Run it, Archie.
Minister.
Madam President, I don't know if the senator is having some difficulty with comprehension. I just said to him what the procedure was and indicated that it has not been embarked upon as far as this minister is aware. I can't understand that question.
Senator Mark?
Yeah. I don't know why the minister is so riled up today.
Senator Mark, please ask.
Did you take your tablets?
Wait, Mark. Exactly. Did you take your tablets? And we're talking tablets. Keith Christopher Rowley, Blanks, Guyana. And they gone somewhere in Doha to talk. And they gone to meet. Keith Rowley was invited here to be in Guyana, our neighbors, where vast resources are being discovered daily. Where the future investment, where we have skills. We have been in oil and gas for 108 years. More than that, 114 years. We have companies, service companies, we build platform and so on. They were invited. Rowley was invited since September. And they rejected through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They said, no, he can't come. 6 months before them know where Rowley don't even know where he will be and who he will be sharing Ole chips with one day to the next. But he knew he can't go no conference, but he gone quite up there to meet with Iran. The world is in war. Our neighbors, our friends, our business partners, the USA, Canada, the European Union, they're bracing for war. But Rowley meets with Iran's president to discuss natural gas. Rowley meets with Maduro and defends Maduro. Rowley puts us in league with Maduro, Russia, Iran. Okay, if you all agree with that foreign policy, well, okay, elections have consequences. Rowley is not representing himself, he's representing the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Total discovers more oil and gas in Suriname. Do you know in this group here is the president of Suriname? Do you know that? Mia Moore Motley was addressing the conference and called him my brother, my bigger brother. Mia Moore Motley there. She said that Suriname now, they find more oil and gas. Is Rowley there to get us some opportunities? Because he and Smallpin done crash our energy sector here. We have no Petrotrin, 3.5 years, no refinery. The price of oil and gas may go up above $100. And we have no refinery because Rowley decided to close it down on his own after lying to you and the whole country and saying if your fridge door was open, close it. We're not shutting down Petrotrin. He lied on Winfred Espine, and Espine said I never tell he to close it down. There were 3 reports, Lashley, McKinsey, And the Solomon report that said, do not close it down. He mama guy the trade unions and told them about patriotic energy to try and get something with Trafigura, while Paria was buying gas and fuel from Wilmer Rupetti and Venezuela Maduro, Trafigura PTE to ES Euro shipping. All of this is going on under the nose of our mass media, and they allow Rowley to do this. So Guyana and Suriname are here. And Rowley's not there because he don't like who win government in Ghana, because he sent Andrew Gabriel, Narcisscope, and some people to back the other side. So he vexed. So you lost. That makes sense? That's mature government. That's mature governance. Ease of doing business, a priority for the government, for the PNM government, really. When Kamala Persad-Bissessar left government, we were 66th in the world with ease of doing business. You could have set up a business in 2 days. Now it's taken 159 days to set up a business. We are now ranked 107th in the world with ease of doing business, even though they changed the category and the name of the category, but the parameters are the same. It is difficult to do business in Trinidad and Tobago. No one wants to do business in Trinidad and Tobago. Neil Mohammed is a PNM candidate, former PNM candidate. The ease of doing business in Trinidad and Tobago could never compete with the ease of doing corruption. And he knows, just like Ethelbert knows, they all know what's going on in the PNM. We must get rid of Rowley and the PNM from political hallways forever. They have done enough damage. Some of it might be irreparable. This is not no joke. World Bank, trust is key to higher tax revenues. Do you trust Coleman Butt? Do you trust Keith Christopher Rowley? Do you trust Small Pin? Do you trust Faris Al-Rawi Alamascara Ware? Do you trust Rohan Sinanan? Do you trust Convent Girl? Do you trust Camille Robinson Regis? Do you trust these people? But they come in to take your taxes, property taxes. They come in with the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority that the politicians, the minister, call him, but will appoint the board, appoint all of the officers except one. That's what they come in to do. But the World Bank says, trust increases your tax revenue. Do you think your tax dollars are working for you? Did you get that life-saving drug for all your family members who died of COVID-19 that was $8,000 per patient, that the PNM said was too expensive to save your life? But they rent Franklin Can Wife building for $7 million. They rent Al-Rawi building for $23.6 million by 2, like $47 million plus $38 million. $85 million for Al-Rawi. But $24 million to save 3,000 lives. They say no. Rowley disrespected Guyana. On behalf of Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the leader of the opposition and the member of parliament for Separia, and all the United National Congress members, we humbly apologize to the government and people of Guyana for the disrespect shown to them by Keith Christopher Rowley, the for now Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, in shunning their invitation 6 months in advance without any rationale or reason, without making any other approach to assist and show love, respect, and togetherness. We humbly apologize on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago for the disrespectful government that we have. And we assure the people of Guyana that we remain your brothers and sisters. We remain your friends and your CARICOM colleagues and business counterparts. And we look forward to doing business that will be mutually beneficial to both sovereign nations. So please accept our apology. The government and people of Guyana, we are sorry. As I say that, I had to apologize yesterday in the Senate. I get ejected. I get ejected for asking for evidence. Actually, play it for them. Play it for them.
Madam President, it is for these reasons that Senator Mark's unfounded, baseless, and false allegations against the government and Mr. Patrick Ferreira must be dealt with in the strongest possible manner by this House. Madam President, in accordance with the relevant standing orders, I ask that Senator Wade Mark be referred to the Privileges Committee of this Senate. Madam President, I thank you.
Honourable Senators, I reserve my decision on the matter of privilege raised and will deliver same at a later date. No, Senator Roberts, not at this stage. Senator Roberts, I have said no, you cannot raise it. This is not any such thing. Senator Roberts, please apologize for your rudeness.
Please apologize for asking for evidence.
Senator Roberts, you know, it's not as if you haven't been a member of Parliament before. And therefore you should know that there are certain rules and procedures. All right? And no, Senator Roberts, I will ask you, please, if you continue like this, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the chamber. Senator Roberts, please leave the chamber for the rest of the day.
Now, what was Anil asking for? Clarence Rambarat read out something typed up for him by somebody else. Clarence, but you will take responsibility for it and you will own it. He tried to put on the Hansard, and he put on the Hansard that Wade Mark lied and misled the Parliament about an issue that he brought a substantive motion for. Now, when you bring a motion of privilege, you are supposed to clearly show where the other senator or the opposition parliamentarian, they knew, they ought to have known, they stated, they knew that they were lying, and they lied and misled the Senate or the Parliament, and you have to prove that. Clarence Rambarat, this was an issue involving the now PNM NIB chairman, Patrick Ferreira, and Wade Mark was bringing up some very serious issues that occurred in the past for Patrick Ferreira when he was at an insurance company called CIC. And Clarence Rambarat just come in the Senate and ball Wade Mark lie. The central bank say so. He did not go through, he did not state, he did not quote from a letter that the central bank wrote in response to his letter or whoever other letter. He presented not an iota of factual information to show that what Wade Mark said was false and Wade Mark should have known. So when I'm asking, but what is this? Because you come out here, it goes out beaming to the world. Wade Mark lie, Wade Mark lie. But I'm shut down and thrown out. No big thing. But let me ask Mr. Patrick Ferreira, whoever your name is, you see they open a can of worms for you. Because the issue that Wade Mark was bringing up involved the laws of Trinidad and Tobago and the laws, the Insurance Act, and whether you could give rebates on commissions and so on. And this gentleman was the CEO or managing director of CIC Insurance. So I asked, was CIC Insurance reported to the central bank, reported to the Brokers Association? Was Patrick Ferreira reported to the Brokers Association or to the central bank? Was he reported by another firm called PCFR, Rodney Farrar? Was that report made? What was the report about? Was the report about a rebate contrary to the laws of Trinidad and Tobago? Was CIC Insurance reported? Did the Brokers Association do an investigation? Did the Brokers Association come out with a report on that investigation? Did CIC Insurance then have to pay or pay restitution in a certain amount to PCFR brokerage firm? Did that occur? Yes or no? Why did they have to pay that? Why did they have to pay that amount? How is it then? Does Mr. Ferreira work in insurance anymore? Is Mr. Ferreira highly qualified in insurance? Does Mr. Ferreira work for his family's company now? Does his family company have an insurance section in their conglomerate? Is Mr. Ferreira working in the insurance section or in the motor section? And why, if you have the most qualified gentleman in insurance, is he working in the motor vehicle section? Did the central bank receive a report from the Brokers Association? Did the central bank do an investigation? What was the outcome of that investigation? Central Bank, did you alert Clarence Rambarat that there was no investigation and no findings of anything against CIC, the company, and its former CEO? Is it your position that a man was out of the country and therefore has no responsibility? Why did the board of CIC remove or ask to remove or get rid of or part ways with Mr. Ferreira? Why? And did it happen at around this time? These are some very serious questions. And to the central bank, since Clarence Rambarat is on record on Hansard as saying no conclusion came about in this matter. 1, central bank, did you receive a report from the Brokers Association? 2, did you investigate it? 3, did you find new information that cleared CIC and Mr. Ferreira, and did you convey that information to the Brokers Association? And finally, did you find that the Brokers Association had erred in making a report and giving recommendations against CIC and Mr. Ferreira? And if so, if that is true, central bank, did Mr. Ferreira sue the Brokers Association? Did he sue anybody else? Did he sue Mr. Rodney Farrar? Did he sue PCFR brokerage firm? These are the questions you'd like to know. So don't come in the PNM playing and play Wade Mark lie, Wade Mark lie. Where there is smoke, there is fire. So now we will get all of these answers. So Mr. Ferreira should have tell Colin to hush. You should have tell Clarence to hush. And you should have tell them left and write this thing down, because we live in a democracy where evidence is necessary. To call a senator like Wade Mark a liar, Clarence, you're passing out of place. You disgusting clown. Why you don't go online with Boudit? You're not in the Senate. When you're not in the Senate, you're with Boudit. You come now to call Wade Mark a liar without evidence just because you all control the Senate? Really? Do I look like I care? You see, Randall Mitchell, this is what happens when you're not afraid. When you're not afraid, you come out openly and talk. And Randall Mitchell, you don't go in the Senate protected by Mama Bear and Papa Bear and try to attack. Wait, Randall Mitchell, you love Douglar politics, eh? You like Douglar politics? You just look at Douglar politics. Let me hear you, Randall Mitchell. Come in, man.
And Madam President, there is another matter, There is another matter that must soon engage all of our attention in this Honorable Senate. The very insidious and crass nature of a show called Douglar Politics. Douglar Politics that has made a habit because of this House and of the House of Representatives.
Senator, Minister, I have to caution you here. Okay? I would ask you please to remember what we are treating with and to just come back here, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Take your caution. I'm indicating the molestation and intimidatory tactics members of opposition senators. I feel it is important. I would just say, if you permit me, Madam President, that a lot of members of the Douglar population, the Douglar community, have reached out to me and have asked me, through you, to indicate to Honorable Senator Roberts that perhaps he could substitute the word Douglar with the word gutter, because that is what most describes what goes on.
On a point of order, 46-1 and 46-5, he didn't proper motion. Madam President.
Minister, I already cautioned you on this, so I'd ask you to move on, please.
Thank you, Madam President. But I want to make it clear that we are not afraid. We are not afraid on this side.
Okay, Randa. But you had to be the biggest dunce in the whole country. You serious? Oh God, boy, you was really a good politician, boy. Oh God, this tears a joy, yeah. So Randall, you're not afraid. Well, Randall, you don't have to be afraid of the Douglar. Wait. The Douglar community call you? What is your number? 626 save Douglar. The Douglar community call he. Hi, this is the Douglar community. Minister, we want you to deal with that Douglar. He's a guttural. He's gutter politics. Come on, he should change it. Hello? Randall, you're not afraid of the Douglar? The Douglar is just saying you are incompetent. You, the stoops at poor people when they ask a house. You are the worst minister of anything. Tourism down, culture down, taste of carnival, taste of bitterness, taste of dotishness. Man does walk all over your portfolio. You have no use, Randall Mitchell. So I will just bring out the politics, the incompetence, the stupidity, the mismanagement that you will undertake. You and your recuse. The only thing you do good is that you just get recusal because of your color. You see your other black benchers, them can't get no recusal. But you qualify not by brain, not by ability. You qualify by color under Rowley to get recusal. So don't afraid the Douglar. You're not afraid the Douglar. You know who you are afraid? Look who you are afraid. Yeah, the man take your seat. Oh God. The man take your girl. Oh God. And he coming for your dog. So you are afraid don't afraid me, Randy. And you know what? Archie, I feel to dance. Let me see. I mean, that Randy look just like Small Pin and them. Oh Lord, play them, let them dance.
Take bamboo, gal. Take bamboo, ride it, gal. Take bamboo, gal. Take bamboo, ride it, gal. Take bamboo, gal. Take bamboo, ride it, gal.
Few moments later.
Push back on the bamboo, baby. Take bamboo, gal. Take bamboo, ride it, gal.
Oh God! Oh, well, you should afraid any time music play. You should be afraid because when music play, you might get the vibe to do that again. So you should afraid music and Brian Manning. Don't afraid the Douglar because you're the worst minister in the history of tourism, culture, and any portfolio. You can't even debate good and use a lawyer. Man, boy, make some dunce lawyer. And when you're talking about that, you must not even interrupt the temporary senator. The temporary senator and all this deal with you, Randall Mitchell. Randy, let Senator Joel D'Souza deal with you, yes? Run it.
I listened to the Honorable Minister of Tourism say that a book should be drawn up to teach Senator Roberts and us how to act in this Honorable Senate. But what about a book drawn up for other members on the other side to learn how to treat their wives and their children?
I go
and Saturday live on Facebook and YouTube, 7:30 p.m. Tune in, Douglar Politics, live every Wednesday and Saturday, YouTube, Facebook.
I go drink water and mind my business. As we talking that Padarat queries cause a blackout, and he was very correct, and he asked a question, a pertinent question, many questions, and Small Pin got very excited and started to say something. Actually, I don't even know if we have that. We have that image. Put up Small Pin media release now where he bought, but he stooped so much with so much spit that the spit fall out his mouth. And Small Pin, what's going on with you? According to Wade Mark, you take your tablet, but we go move on. No water in East Port of Spain. East Port of Spain, PNM stronghold. No water in East Port of Spain for nearly 2 months. Look, Papa and them, look. Papa even have on a washout red jersey. East Port of Spain, the stronghold of the PNM. 2 months no water. Beat them. 6.5 months to water flowing all around. Look at that. That is how the PNM treats people who are loyal to them. This is it. Still going. They say December 2nd, February 7th, February 18th. When is the next deadline? If it was Goodwood Park, you think that Tutu water could have flowed so long? Nah, man. Bad roads delay fire truck. And Rohan Sinanan come to pretend and feign that he was sad. Barry Padarat has been begging him, writing letter after letter for 2 years. An elderly couple were burned to death. The fire truck should have taken 10 minutes to reach, but it couldn't pass where the road had been cut in half because of landslip that Padarat had been begging Rohan Sinanan to fix. They had to take an alternative route, and it took them 47 minutes. Enough time for the blaze to engulf the entire dwelling and for 2 elderly people to perish. Their only consolation is that they perished together. And Rohan Sinanan come in the Senate to talk one bag of nonsense, what he do and what he did and what he was doing. And then the newspapers come to ask if personal tragedies should be politicized. Exactly what are you saying, media? So if members of parliament write letters stating facts, saying the dangers, begging and beseeching, 12 letters, 20 phone calls, in parliament, out of parliament, please help us, help us. The government in a first past the post system controls all the resources. They give you promise after promise, and for 2 years and 4 months, nothing is done. And then the fire service says that they were delayed because they could not pass the quicker normal route. They had to go a roundabout way, and people died. You are saying shut up? You are saying that the opposition must drink our water and mind our business. We are minding our business. Our business is to protect the people, to serve the people, and to ensure that the government tries to find some heart to serve all of the country, because they feel that they are the government for PNM, where there's hamper, where there's cassava, where there's water, where there's food card. These sick people believe that they are in government and they must only give people who support them anything, and those who support them too much, they get nothing to, like beat them. What nonsense are you talking, media? Politicize? Politics is about life and death. Politics impacts lives. Over 200,000 people have lost jobs and impacting their lives because the PNM is dumb. Over 3,560 people are dead from COVID-19 because de-alcing is dumb. Over 500 people are dying each year through crime because Ethelbert is dumb, asleep, and bouncing down people's dog while he's sleeping. The PNM is incompetent. What are you talking about? Politics transcends all of our lives. Pensioners die in fire. Could this tragedy have been prevented, says The Guardian? On Sunday, Dudenman Sanka and his wife Ramdai perished in a fire that engulfed their St. Julian Princestown home. The elderly man had suffered a stroke and was being taken care of by his wife and children. The couple lived alone and, according to reports, were good residents. Their deaths have left the children angry and inconsolable. So the children should not be angry and inconsolable. They are playing politics because their parents have died. Not The Guardian, it's the other one. And I can't call which one because I forget, but one of them. Their deaths have left children angry and inconsolable as they question whether the deaths could have been prevented had the authorities heeded constant cries by residents of this sleepy community nestled in Princestown. Members of this community would have participated in a protest not too long ago calling on Works and Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan to take action to repair the landslip that threatened their lives and livelihoods. But nothing was done. So Barry Padarat, Member of Parliament, letters, request, meeting, tour, all of that. People fed up, protest, Rohan, nothing. And one of the mass media outlets asked if we should politicize a tragedy. The tragedy occurred because of politicians who do not care, because of an incompetent, heartless government. And the way to address that is to move the heartless government. Blackout sets manufacturers back up 48 hours. So don't politicize that either. Don't politicize a 12-hour blackout like never before, where manufacturers set back 48 hours. You know how much millions of dollars that is? At TNTX Mercy, Point Lisas loses millions of US dollars we don't have because Petrotrin shut down by the very PNM politicians that you all seek to protect. Small and medium businesses harder hit. Loss of sales, loss of stock, loss of goods. Electricity company may not have to pay compensation. Outage could be regarded as an event beyond control, says the minister. Beyond control? What nonsense. God sent 20 bolts of lightning at the same time and it hit everything and mash it up. The natural disaster is the PNM. So you say don't politicize. But then you have this clown who laughs. He laughs at the citizens' pain. Billions of dollars lost. Millions of dollars lost. Businesses shut down, stock. You can't even add up. And you have this man who's in charge. And what does he do? Run it, Archie.
Also, in terms of assurances to the public, given that the system is backed up, but that there would not be necessarily any repeat of anything like what happened yesterday in the very near future at the very least.
I think when I took my oath of appointment, I would have liked to assure the country that something of this nature would have never happened, especially under my tenure. So these things you can't, and I'm sure the Commissioner of Police I'm referring to would wish to assure the country that tomorrow wouldn't have a murder. But these things are all dwell in our heart, and we wish only the best for Trinidad and Tobago. But
you wish the best for Trinidad and Tobago, but Wassa is the worst. You and your chairman Nanga, whoever name Ravi Nanga, that disrespectful go-to come in a joint select committee and start to play arrogant. Ravi Nanga, who is you? What you ever do? Use Ganga, you bat, you run for the country, you write a book, you serve who you serve? Ravi Nanga and that minister man overseeing the worst performance of Wassa in the history of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Over 5 billion gallons of water being lost per month. Leaks all over the place. Leak after leak. People can't get water. Truck-borne water is the big burgeoning thing now. Diesel, they only burning diesel moving around. Because of what? Archie, show them a few examples of water wasting all over the place because of these clumps. Look at this.
Right, so Arango is main road. Watch out.
Just watch it. Nobody in Arangwas Main could get water. But this main leaking months now. Everybody report it. Wasa can't reach to fix it. This is Arangwas Main right there. Not to say that they are seen. Watch the pavement. Whole pavement wet. Right? Whole pavement wet. So look at this. All this water is from the same leak. Since September of last year. People making report in the area. Every week somebody reporting this leak. Wasaki I reach to fix it here. Minister of Public Utilities. How much it does cost for Wasa to make a gallon of water for people to drink? How much 100,000 gallon leak out here every day is leaking constantly, but around West people can't get water. Yet our Wasa main leaking since September last year. Nobody coming to fix this.
And that is across the whole country with this clung and his appointed chairman Ravi Nanga. Water wasting, and then they have the audacity to tell us, the citizens, respect every drop. But them turn on the distribution network and over 5 billion gallons of potable water being wasted due to their incompetence. And these two clowns are arrogant. Under Kamla Prasad Bisesa and Ganga saying 74% of citizens had 24/7 supply. Now it is down to below 16% under this one. And Rabi Nanga, the chairman of WASA. Lisha Dore writes in the opinion page, letter to the editor, when the government shows you who they are, believe them. For almost 12 hours on Wednesday, yes, no put he back. Because he in charge and he laugh at this. For almost 12 hours on Wednesday, February 16, 2022, Trinidad was plunged into darkness. We lost not only electricity, but many parts of the country were also without water, internet, and phone services. Heightened anxiety and panic spread throughout the island, especially as nighttime approached and the fear of becoming prey for lurking criminals grew stronger and stronger as Trinidad became darker and darker. Yet throughout this 12-hour crisis that traumatized the nation, neither the Prime Minister nor the Minister of Public Utilities, the Minister of National Security, the Minister of Social Development and Family Services, nor any other minister saw the need to speak to the people. Not one word of comfort, not one word of compassion or reassurance was offered by the country's leaders. Lisha Dore, MBA, BSc, ABE, PMP. And these dunces are in charge. Don't politicize that either. Media, mass media. No, it's not politics. Don't put it politics. Just leave PNM there. And no matter how incompetent they are, that we good because we shareholders make money. The PNM must go. Rowley must go. This minister man must go. Take him, Archie. And then while they're talking that court, no salary increase for 2015 to 2017. Because of the poor performance of the PNM, the lack of ability, the lack of subvention, the lack of efficacy, the lack of any sort of plan, the labor court had a rule that workers now cannot get any increase because the company broken under the PNM. Can you all believe that? Elections have consequences. No. Don't politicize that. Them in charge to be called minister, but them is just to tell we it have a problem. They are not to provide solution. No. Don't stress the PNM. Don't ask them for solutions and creative ideas to make people's lives better. No, man. You will hurt the PNM. Distress in Dago. Residents frustrated as drain construction drags on everything in this country mash up. For 4 months, one resident of Ann Avenue, Dago Martin, says he has been denied efficient access to his home because, look, They start a walk, they can't finish a walk, they leave the place flooded, mosquito, all kind of thing. And people have to go, that is what people in Diego Martin have to go through. Whether it's a Ranguez with the waste of time MP for St. Joseph, Terence delicing Doctor of Death, or down in Diego Martin, Colmimbot Rowley, and the next one, the nosebreaker. Rowley. But one thing Rowley does do, he does go and visit his friend and them. Look, he got Nutramix. That boy Mohammed on the roadmap to recovery. The only people recovering is Rowley businessmen and them. Rowley wouldn't go and check the Beetham sewer. He wouldn't go 6.5 months people suffering. He wouldn't go down there and check the sewer to say, but what is wrong with this? And take Fitzgerald Hines and take the minister man and take Keith Scotland and blow them out there for the people to see. He wouldn't go by the Beetham. He wouldn't go and see the sewer. That is problem. He reached by his brethren them. Multi-million-dollar billionaires, Nutramix. I think he even gone on the plane with him to catch COVID. And then he gone again. Look where he does go. He ain't going to Beetham. He ain't going to check Princestown, the way people dead in. He ain't going Maruga. He ain't going nowhere. They can't even see him in Carnage. But he gone to the opening of the bricks. P&M financiers. Them has so much money, them could take the time and refurbish a thing and change the name from Carlton Savannah to Bricks. But Rowley reached there to open Bricks. Because like he might want to go there to share Ole chips. See if he go in the Bricks. But that's where he goes. Why? And then he's saying that shows confidence in the economy. Well, yes. Every P&M financier who is the beneficiary of P&M cabinet decisions and recusals and making hundreds of millions of dollars could continue to invest. The rest of we is to catch. And then here Nutramix director, he calling on government to deal with illegal chicken imports. But you is the government, you and your brethren, this your friend, yeah, this your friend. What you calling on the government for? Just call he. Or they don't play golf together, or they don't lime together, he put you on roadmap to recovery. Well, tell him, so you is the government and it still have illegal imports of chicken. So you are criticizing your government, clown man. Boy, and then look at the Guardian. You all want to know what goes on in this country? The PM's headache. The PM's headache, Rowley's headache. You know what that is referring to? Rowley is saying he want to pick and put permanent secretaries. Rowley, the man who bring procurement legislation that Kamala passed with special majority to bring, he got it with simple majority. Come and bring regulations that make no sense. 6.5 years procurement going on like them never even hear about any corporate governance. Rowley, who put one man, Noel Garcia, in charge of all the money to spend and then put the rest of money in the hands of his lawyer and his personal friends and neighbors. Rowley, who controls everything and has shattered any sort of attempt at corporate governance structure in this country, is now saying he wants to remove permanent secretaries. And mind you, most of them permanent secretaries related to members in the cabinet anyway. But the few who are not, who are following the rules, Rowley want to remove them because they have a portion of money that he not controlling. And you all can't see this. And the Guardian is promoting that as if it is some sort of headache for a brilliant prime minister who is trying to do the right thing, who is trying to promote accountability, transparency, and value for money. Rowley, the email gate man, the Renaissance man, the land date man, the HCC contract man, the bridgeman's man, the ferry gate man, the what? Rowley. And then you know who agree with Rowley? Nirad, Bo's son. Nirad agree. Nirad, AmCham is an organization you managing what? What is AmCham? You come to agree with Rowley to remove the little bit of protection over we money that he don't control. And Nirad Tiwari, Bo Tiwari, I tell you, the only thing named Bo that good is a girl with a slight bow leg. Bo Tiwari, you big clown. You and your son, you all going to some, well, all up in Rowley K-Pax. Well, why you don't just join the PNM Bo? And Nirad, go ahead. Don't come to play PNMB team, a boaty worry. Then just now, I'm going to do a whole special Douglar politics for you, Bo. You wait right there. Okay? You wait right there. Now, we move to the final and most depressing story. I don't know where to... You know where I'm going to start with this story? I'm going to start at the end. Because of shame. I don't know how to bring up this story. Of course, it's a story about the murdered boy Elvis Santoyo Sarabia. I really don't know where to begin, but I go begin in the last one because most of you, PNM sycophants, have been so disgusting, have been so nasty. Attacking a mother who lost a baby in her arms. Your head shattered by a bullet. Well, let me tell you all something, There was a Trini on board, you know. There was a Trinbagonian on board the vessel. And the Trinbagonian spoke his mind. The Trinbagonian gave his side of the story. And the Trinbagonian said that the version of the story given by the Coast Guard that the vessel was attempting to ram them was total nonsense and not true. Remember, I told you from getting the eyewitness reports that the vessel was having engine trouble. They had 2 engines and one was not working. Well, this gentleman, the Trini, not no illegal immigrant, a Trini fisherman from Moruga, spoke through his lawyer and gave a full statement. And he said that while they were out there fishing, the other vessel that held the immigrants was undergoing problems. Now the rules and laws of the sea, once you are captain of a vessel, you must assist. You have no choice. You must give assistance to anybody who has any problems on the sea. That's the law of the sea. And he went there and they transferred all these people onto his boat. Now his boat is not designed for all this weight, so it could not ram anything. It was moving slowly. And he said they came upon at about 4 a.m. a dark vessel, and they saw a flare go up. And as the flare went up, a second flare went up and gunshots rang out. And gunshots rang out. They couldn't see. They didn't know whether it was pirate, whether it was Coast Guard. They didn't know if it's riverine unit. They didn't know what. But a flare went up and gunshots rang out. Then they saw 2 small vessels approaching. The 2 small vessels came alongside, told them to stop, and they had stopped. And then when, boom, the bigger vessel came and they lit them. Remember to lit our spotlights? They light them up. And at that point, the Trini fisherman said they noticed blood on the mother. And he described what he saw, the baby's head open with a big hole in it and blood. He then told us in detail what then happened. The Coast Guard took all the illegal immigrants and put them on the bigger vessel. He and the other Trini stayed there. They told him to move the baby that was dead and put it on the bow. They told him to say a prayer for the baby. Then they told him to put the baby back on the ground. All of these instructions in detail, giving a witness statement that is totally contrary to that story told by the Coast Guard. Where's the investigation? Where's the independent investigation? Where are the 35 witnesses that have been deported? You all still want to cuss and carry on? You all still feel that institutions who are given power, law enforcement, could do what they want? They could operate however they want? If somebody does an illegal act, there could be judge, jury, and executioner right there because they are law enforcement. So you all don't believe in the principles of Black Lives Matter, that the law must be followed, that there must be procedure, that there must be use of force policy. You all don't believe in all of that? Where's the investigation? Where has it reached? DCP Jacobs, who taken instruction from the PNM, you say you're investigating. Where's the analysis of the boat, of the engine? Where are the pictures of the boat? How many people? Where were the people? You see how many holes in the Coast Guard story? But the Guardian newspaper said the most dangerous thing I've ever seen. The Guardian newspaper on Monday, February 21st editorial says there's nothing. This was before the witness statement, okay? So they did not know this new information, and be fair to them. However, that does not negate what I said about this being the most dangerous editorial ever. Because the Coast Guard information, when I heard it, I came and I put about 18 questions. Don't you all remember? How they could ram, what was the FLIR, where was the thermal imaging, how you didn't know, if they ramming you, how you shoot at an engine, why you shooting, if nobody fired at you, why do you feel your lives are in danger, at what speed could they ram you to put you in danger that you had to shoot to kill. All of those questions, many questions and more. But the Guardian says there's nothing before us to challenge the facts. Really? So there's nothing before you to challenge the facts. Why? Aren't you a newspaper? If law enforcement give you a story, isn't it your job to go and check the efficacy of the story, to go and see whether it makes sense, to go and check if it's logical, to go and investigate, to find experts to give you an opinion on whether the story could make sense, especially in such a critical area, an area that could embarrass the country globally and has embarrassed the country. So your job is not to fact find, your job is just to take, Coast Guard say A, well we believe A. Really, Guardian? I didn't know that. So if you read the police report on Floyd, then you just accept that. But the video footage showed that the police report was wrong on many occasions in the USA with law enforcement or in Trinidad and Tobago. The police report when they killed the 3 men up there in Lavanti in the Gold Tida, the police report did not match with what we saw, and that caused riots. So Guardian, you just tell us that it's your job to just accept. There is nothing before us to challenge the facts. Okay? From all appearances, an illegal act was taking place. An illegal act? Really? We are signatories to treaties and so on. So the illegal act, what does that mean? Anyway, let me continue. Taking place. And the Coast Guard, as law enforcement on the seas, was doing their job. Furthermore, all adults on board the vessel ought to have known the actions were unlawful and knew the risks that they were taking. The mother therefore was responsible for the danger which she exposed her baby. The Guardian newspaper, victim blaming illegal migrants for searching for a better life, running from a dictator to another dictator. They don't know that though. That's your position, Guardian newspaper. Shame on you. So it's the mother's fault. Really? What is law enforcement, Guardian? Law enforcement means that once you have a gun you could kill. You could shoot at any time. Once a law is being broken, you could just shoot and kill. Really, Guardian? That's an amazing position to have. That is such an ignorant, sad position. I'm really shocked. But the editorial of the Newsday finally hits the nail on the head. So with the new witness information now, Guardian, would you like to investigate more? Would you like an independent investigation? Would you like to know what really took place? And will it be deemed murder? Now you're interested? Because a witness, and not no illegal immigrant, a trainee witness, has given a story that is obliquely opposite to that given by the Coast Guard. And his story makes more sense. Am I against the Coast Guard? Absolutely not. But the story they gave from the onset, for anyone who understands the sea, water, nighttime, who reads, who understands Coast Guard, equipment, cutlass vessel, technology, FLIR, thermal imaging, force policy, how you interact, safety, procedures with guns, you know that it didn't make sense. Anybody trained does not just open fire on a vessel with no shots, no ammunition, no gun. You have technology you did not check and see. No one puts their officers into harm's way without intel. The treatment, and then on top of that now, we treat the mother of this baby. I can't even read this. Shame on you, DCP Jacobs. And DCP Jacobs said that they treated the lady with love, care, compassion, and respect. The mother was not even allowed to go to her baby's funeral. She had 2 surgeries, she in pain and so on. They discharged her from the hospital. And we as a people, Trinidad and Tobago, with all the police escort, whatever you want, the woman is not a criminal. She have no criminal record. She's an illegal immigrant and a mother. We didn't see it fit to take her to say goodbye to her baby. Yeah, because the baby illegal, and the mother illegal. We take her and drop her in a police station to sit down there by herself, waiting for the husband they call. One group of police say they interrogate her. DCP Jacobs say we didn't interrogate her because we are compassionate. A mother who held her baby in her arms as his head was shot and blasted open. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, them represent us. We could not even see it fit to take the mama to kiss her baby goodbye. Good night.
Appreciated. Well, you make me feel relatively old now. Senior. Honorable political leader, leader of the opposition, and our distinguished former Prime Minister, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, platform colleagues here tonight. Good evening, everyone. I will tonight discuss the findings of the report of the committee appointed by Dr. Keats Rowley to investigate the factors contributing to the clinical outcomes of COVID-19 patients in Trinidad and Tobago. That report was laid in the Parliament last Friday, the 18th of February. In fact, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar specifically called for a commission of inquiry into the overall management of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I called for a confidential inquiry into every single COVID-19 death for the last 8 months. So the very fact that this report was commissioned is thanks to the constant and undoubted calls and vigilance of our opposition leader and the United National Congress on behalf of a battered, weary, and oppressed population. Further, we had stated that 1 week could never possibly be enough time for that committee to review this COVID-19 pandemic. They got the fright, and they said that they decided to ask for another 3 weeks, which was given to them. So 4 weeks to conduct their investigation. But in the report, which I spoke about yesterday as well, there are no surprises in their findings. Absolutely none. Because we have been saying that every day for the last 6 months on the issues which they noted. Every single fallacy, shortcoming, and problem of this committee that this committee has identified, we have been saying that all along. And even patients and doctors and nurses and the families of COVID-19 victims have also been saying that all along. So there are no surprises to the information that has been provided by the committee in this report. Let us look at the analysis of the report's findings. Every single one of the report's findings, we had alerted the population to it. Let me dissect some of the key issues. And here are some of the committee's key findings. First, staff shortages. Staff shortages, as said, were common from the levels of executive management to doctors and nurses to orderlies and patient escorts. They continue to say in the report, some doctors had to do non-medical jobs like lifting and moving patients, pulling up patients in bed, and processing nasal swabs. Continue. Nurses in some instances also had to carry out duties outside of their regular function. We have been saying that from 18 months ago. From early in this pandemic, there had been a shortage of both senior, experienced ones, and other nursing personnel and doctors. The Nursing Association have repeatedly warned this governmental Minister Diyal Singh, and we in the UNC continuously warned them as well of medical and nursing personnel shortages very early, but they didn't take us on. The committee report went on to say doctors and nurses complained of overwork almost to the point of exhaustion. Concluding that the workload was severe, the committee said it must take a toll mentally, physically, and psychologically. This is what the report is stating. They go on to state that privacy and security were also areas of concern raised by the committee. At some sites, listen to this, 3 to 4 young doctors, male and female, had to sleep on mattresses on the floor in the same room. Imagine in this 21st century, in a developed country, this is what was happening under Diyal Singh's watch. Some doctors complained that the door to their room could not be locked. The committee said this was particularly worrisome given the current state of crime in the country. Is not Dr. Gopi Singh or the United National Congress saying that. This is the committee that is saying that. They go on to say nurses complained of having to work long hours in personal protective equipment. We said from the ab initio, from the beginning, that they did not provide enough personal protective equipment for the medical and frontline staff. And this report has showed nurses complaining of having to work long hours in personal protective equipment, often without a break to drink water or go to the washroom. How callous, inconsiderate. They also reported that they had to lift and turn patients because of a shortage of attendants and orderlies. Imagine a slim, slender nurse who is a nurse by profession have to at sometimes lift patients who are lying on their back and move them to the prone position or semi-prone position, particularly the obese ones whose distended abdomen push the diaphragm up, restrict the lung volume and the lung capacity and prevents them from breathing. So the nurses had to do that because there are no orderlies in the system. And this is what Diyal Singh and Parasram and Trotman and Marian Richel, Abdul Richards were 2 years coming every day and talking a bunch of foolishness, and they don't know this is going on in the hospital. Where are the hospital managers? Where are the CEOs? Where are the medical directors? Where is Diyal Singh? This is a man who said that his responsibility stops at the door of the hospital. That man should have been fired from the time he made that statement. But Rowley wouldn't do that. The committee report noted that obese patients in particular were difficult to move. Many patients died from respiratory obstruction resulting from an inability to turn patients in a prone or semi-prone position. The committee said there were frequent complaints about very short locum contracts of 1 month to 3 months duration. You remember we were speaking about that for months and months, that they're not giving the doctors and the nurses any contracts. The committee said these short contracts create great uncertainty and depress the morale of young doctors who are exposing themselves to great risk. They recommended that the shortest contract be for a period of 1 year. Imagine you're taking a committee to tell you that you should be giving contract to the young doctors and the nurses. They were asking that from the beginning. And you know why they decided to do that? They want to hold them and give them no contract, hold them under threat, so that if they make any statement, they will send them off and dismiss them. In fact, they have moved 18 senior doctors as a result of that. The committee was told that in many instances, there was 1 ICU nurse nursing 6 ICU ventilated patients. Reports were also received about 1 registered nurse on the ward nursing 20 to 30 patients. This is shameful and disgraceful in the developed country. 1 nurse to 6 ICU patients, when the gold standard worldwide is 1 nurse to 1 ICU patient. And 1 nurse has to monitor 30 patients on a ward. How terrible that is. How can 1 nurse, no matter how competent she is, could manage 30 patients? You don't understand that patients will die as a result of that? It's not a fault of the nurse. It's a fault of Diyal Singh and his team. The report stated the implementation of the policies during the pandemic was hampered by unpredictable staff shortages and staff burnout. Staff burnout because you don't have enough staff. Almost every single doctor we met, the report goes on to say, complained of overwork, almost to the point of exhaustion. Some of these doctors also had to do non-medical jobs, example, lift and move patients. The doctors had to do it as well. And you know how sometimes small these doctors are. They're very, very tiny. Some of them are 23 and 24 years old, and they're slim built. How can they move these patients? They pull up the patients at bed and process nasal swabs. The report stated some staff complained about problems getting meals. I can tell you that. I was inside there in August of 2020. And meals, breakfast was coming 11 o'clock in the morning with a cup of coffee and a half of a sandwich. And your lunch coming 4 o'clock in the evening. And that continued right through. So the committee saw this. And they said, the nurses were complaining of getting meals, especially after long hours in the hot zone. Some nurses spoke of the psychological pressure they felt when they were confronted with many deaths in a day. You can imagine a nurse working and seeing, and they can't help these patients seeing so many people die. They also spoke of the extreme mental stress they face when one of their colleagues died from COVID, stated the report. I come to the drug tocilizumab. The committee reported on it. I have been talking about tocilizumab, a monoclonal antibody, an immunosuppressive drug that they should have bought from months and months ago, which was approved by WHO and approved by the Federal Drug Agency in the United States and in Europe. This is an approved drug for helping to save lives. That was conspicuous by its shortage. Experienced ICU consultants said that they only had about 20% of the required amount of tocilizumab. Pharmacists also agreed that the drug was in short supply. Why, Minister Diyal Singh? Why, Dr. Parasram? You admitted a few nights, I think 2 nights ago on television, the cost of this drug is $8,000, and you said it was very expensive. Is $8,000 too much to save somebody's life? 1,000 patients with $8 million in tocilizumab drug could have been saved. $24 million could have saved 3,000 lives. Rowley, that is criminal. Parasram, that is criminal. Diyal Singh, that is criminal. Why didn't you buy the drugs to save these patients' lives? And there were also reports about shortage of other drugs, midazolam, methylprednisolone, to prevent the bronchial tree from becoming blocked up with secretions. and propofol to help the patients in ICU who are sedated. You continue a drip of propofol, which the anesthetists use to keep them relatively sedated. So all these drugs were missing. Dexamethasone was used in instances where methylprednisolone was indicated. And in addition, the committee said there was a shortage of basic items at the hospital, shortage of basic items. And also the drug that is used when persons are at a critical stage, which is toxilumab. The key aspect of the report is the recommendation that the anti-inflammatory drug, toxilumab, which is given at an advanced stage of COVID-19, should be purchased more as it was conspicuous by its shortage. Yeah. Well, Dr. Parasram, doctorate, honorary doctorate, presiding over the death of 3,500 patients. You get an honorary doctorate for that. It is not a question on your knowledge and so on, but you presided over it. Dr. Trotman, you presided over it. Mariam Abdul-Richards, Diyal Singh, Rowley, the CEOs, the managers, the regional health authority boards, all of them should be fired immediately. And the committee went on to say, though toxilumab is an expensive drug, there is a cost benefit to be realized from its use. We recommend that the policy regarding toxilumab use be reviewed, the report stated. And then they spoke about the high rates of NCDs among the patients who died. That's the non-communicable disease of diabetes, hypertension, immunosuppressed patients, asthma, and so on, and cancer. Who died or who were hospitalized for COVID-19 were notable. It doesn't take anybody to tell us, the committee tell us that. We know when Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa was Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago in 2012, we ensured that the 105 health centers, most of them were open up to 9 p.m. on weekends and public holidays. As soon as Rowley and they came into government 6 years ago, they closed down most of these health centers and they reduced the time from 9 o'clock back to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So when patients could have got their diabetes and hypertension controlled, they went nothing. And during this pandemic, people who were diabetic and hypertension could not get any medication. They could not be seen. So therefore, when they got COVID, they were a walking disaster. That is what this government was doing. This is what Rowley and Diyal Singh and his people were doing to the people of this country. The committee went on to say the crucial issue of ICU deaths. There is need for a national policy on intensive care unit admissions for COVID-19 patients of different ages and to have special ICU beds for elderly patients. The committee showed where patients 80 years and above were being deprived at times from an ICU beds. Was there a triaging done? Was there Russian roulette as to see who would be put in the ICU beds? A national disaster and a national disgrace. The committee said on a national policy regarding ICU admissions and care of the elderly, the team noted that 15.2% of pediatric admissions were to ICU compared with 1.2% of persons over 80 years of age. And so many of patients over 80 years of age died. Were they deprived of ICU support? The report stated this was remarkable given the high death rate amongst the elderly. It was also noted that there were special pediatric ICU beds, whereas there were no such facility for the elderly. They're allowing the elderly to die. Was there a decision on that? By whom? Are you God? Not to put the 80 years and over patient in the ICU? In addition, the demand for pediatric ICU beds was in absolute terms much smaller than for adult ICU beds. In fact, the committee found that seniors 80 years and over had difficulty in getting the beds. And was there, as I said, was there triaging and leaving the 80 years to suffer by themselves and die? The another committee statement, we did not find any mention of a national policy regarding admissions to ICU for persons of different ages and recommend that such a policy needs to be articulated. Imagine 2 years into this pandemic and you don't have a policy for ICU admission. How disgraceful that is. Yet still Minister Young on Friday, I saw him looking at the television from my office, making a big thing that the Trinidad management of the ICU met WHO and international best practice standards. Is that international best practice standards? Is that so? You should be ashamed, Minister Young. I would consider this a gigantic fraudulent statement with hypocrisy and blatant lies and deceit. How can you go into Parliament and say that this was happening? I had long pointed out, ladies and gentlemen, that the health authorities and the ILSING were hiding the ICU and HDU mortality statistics. The country would have heard me asking for that many times because they had turned the hospitals of the nation into killing fields. I asked this over and over more than 10 times in the last 6 months publicly, and the report confirms what I've been asking. Imagine the people appointed by the Prime Minister himself, that is the committee, were denied these statistics according to their report. Deliberate hiding of the information. Hiding the information. You see why Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar called this a puppy show? This team had no legal remit, so they had to take whatever the same people accused of criminal negligence gave them. In fact, as I remember, the team had asked for 90 case notes. They got 25 case notes. 25 case notes. They were only able to interview 25 people across the 5 RHs. So any work could be done in 4 weeks. And this is why Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, as leader of the opposition, has been calling for this commission of inquiry, knowing fully well that 1 week, nor 4 weeks, or 2 months could do the work that is required to be done to unearth the difficulties that we experience. And one more point, the committee said there was need for improved communication by regional health authorities with patients' relatives. They said that frontline health workers felt abandoned by RHA leaderships. Among the findings were that Couva Hospital, Port of Spain General Hospital, and Augustus Lung Hospital had the most COVID deaths. And that is not surprising. Devlin Thomas chased out 18 senior experienced doctors. And that is when the deaths began to rise. This is his doing. He removed intensivists, pulmonologists, anesthetists, cardiologists, nephrologists, emergency specialists. So are we surprised that patients began to die when 18 of the senior doctors were moved out by Devlin Thomas? And he is the boss because he is the ILSING right-hand man in this constituency, and he is Prime Minister Rowley go for boy. And he could do anything, but they have caused the deaths of 3,500 people in this country. On communications with patients, the team stated anecdotal reports suggested that in the past, there has been severe dislocation between families and their loved ones admitted to hospital. This is what the team stated, that views of relatives of COVID-19 patients need further investigation. We could not assess their views due to the time constraints of this rapid assessment. We noted that relatives had no or limited access to patients during admission. We recommend a formal survey of the views of relatives of patients who were cared for in the parallel health system. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very damning report. Even though I pointed out all these fatal shortcomings for the past year, it still horrifies me to see this in print. Imagine generations to come will read of this legacy of death and destruction of the COVID hospitals killing fields as the hallmark of the Rowley government's COVID-19 pandemic policies and management. The lives of 3,500 citizens have been lost and counting. So many families torn apart, so many heartaches and devastation, all because of the incompetence and inexperience, the arrogance, the cluelessness, the criminal negligence of this Rowley government, and especially the health minister and senior health managers. This report is a serious indictment on the Rowley government because all these issues, all these problems could have been prevented or halted midway if only Rowley and his team of incompetence had listened to Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, listened to us, the Opposition United National Congress recommendations, and taking urgent action to remedy these deadly ills. Everything the report notes, the population saw unfolding before our own eyes. Nothing here is a secret. So why didn't Rowley take action to prevent more deaths? Why did it have to come to this, where we had to bend to where he had to bend to the unending pressure of the opposition leader, myself and her team, only to get 105 pages confirming what we have been telling him all along? No country, no democracy, no citizen should have to endure these deadly mishaps and mismanagement. But not this time. Ladies and gentlemen, we know what the PNM gives. We have been around long enough. We know the PNM style of mamagai, papi show, trickery, lies, deceit, and incompetence. But not this time. The country cannot let them get away with this serious criminal negligence again. There must be urgent action on this report. And I said yesterday, and I repeat today, this report must be forwarded to the police commissioner and director of public prosecutions for an in-depth investigation into criminal negligence and misconduct in public officer by all senior public officials who were involved in this. And I echo the sentiments of the Honorable Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition. She is going to be Prime Minister again, so it's all right, I am premature. For a commission of inquiry into the Rowley government's mismanagement of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now the Simongal Committee did make another very important point in this report. Hear what they said. However, the committee said the time was too brief to allow a thorough assessment of COVID-19 clinical outcomes. And this alone is evidence that the opposition leaders' call for a commission of inquiry into Rowley government mismanagement of the COVID-19 pandemic must be held with urgency. That is the logical follow-up to this report. If the government is serious about taking action, because this would allow enough time, resources, and most importantly, a legal remit for a proper inquiry to be done. The blatant criminal negligence and misconduct in public office must be prosecuted legally. This has been a monumental disaster and must be the subject of an official report. The near 3,600 patients who sadly lost their lives due to the incompetence and deadly criminal negligence of Rowley's appointees must not have died in vain. They and their families deserve urgent justice. Trinidad and Tobago deserve answers and actions. And as I close, ladies and gentlemen, the entire management or mismanagement can be considered a state-sanctioned criminal act. Rowley and his government has deliberately and willfully violated citizens' constitutional rights to proper health care and protection of lives. It is criminal to allow the fostering of improper medical care, which has been going on for the last 2 years. And the report strongly points to this. They know people were dying helplessly. They lied to cover up. They continued to propagate it. And worse, they kept the same team of managers, CEOs, boards, minister, and his team to continue doing this. If Rowley continues to keep Dial Singh and his team, he would be guilty of state-sanctioned murder against the citizens of this country. I say tonight, they should all be in jail. Thank you very much.